Howdy folks, welcome to the latest episode of the Digital Retribution YouTube thingamabob. It's another haul video today, and to be quite honest, this will probably be the last of any sort of big DVD and Blu-ray and 4K hauls. I've bought so much stuff over the last couple of months that I now have a to-watch pile that's horrifyingly large. So I'm going to play a little bit of catch up. So what I'm going to do for content then, I have no idea. I guess I'll work it out. I've got some other couple of ideas, including if you sort of look over to here, I've got the House of a Thousand Corpses board game. I might talk about some of the horror related board games I've got. But in the meantime, we'll get on to this this silly little haul video. My name's JR. This is Digital Retribution. Okie dokie then. I hope that you have all been well. I hope you're staying warm if you're in Australia, because it is persistently colder than a witch's tit here. Things that aren't supposed to be erect are erect, and things that are supposed to be erect have shrunk to almost Ken doll proportions. But still, that doesn't mean that we're not going to take a little bit of a looky lulu at the bollocks that I've bought over the last couple of weeks. Now I'm going to start off with the joyous people of Vinnies. Now I mentioned in the last video, which was last week, that I had actually bought a couple of American Horror Stories because they had like a deal where it was like 10 things for $5 or $6. I can't even remember now. And so this is just some of the DVDs that I grabbed, just because, like, if somebody tells you that you're going to get a pile of free DVD, like basically free DVDs for the same cost as the two things that you were going to buy, you just tend to like buy bullshit, right? So I bought The Cell. I haven't seen this for ages. I thought I had a copy of it. I obviously don't. Maybe it's just because I sort of lend movies out and sometimes just give them away and sort of go, yeah, I'll probably never watch it again. But like, if it was free to a good home, I may as well take it and have another watch. It's got Vincent D'Onofrio in it. I like Vincent D'Onofrio. So I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name, but it's how I pronounce his name. Jenny from the block, she used to have a little. Now she's got nothing. So I got that one as part of it. I like Harry Potter and some of those sorts of teen sci-fi and fantasy sort of films, like Percy Jackson and stuff like that. And I'm sure I've seen this before, Divergent, which is, I think, the first of 3 movies or something like that. But, it's got, like, Ray Stevenson and Maggie Q and Kate Winslet in it. I'll give it a go, why not? I will, it's a bit of a divergence from what I'd normally watch, but, yeah, we'll give it a go. It's from that person who puts the dates on their movies before they gave them in, which I still find really funny. Was this one of his? No, that one. The Cell. I don't think The Cell was his speed. Next one is one that a movie that I really, really dig. Hitchcock. Did this get an Academy Award? I seem to think it did. But Anthony Hopkins, Helen Mirren, Scarlett Johansson, Toni Collette, Danny Huston, whatever his name is. But he was in 30 Days of Night. Jessica Biel's in this, so I remember liking this film, and I've been on a bit of a not a big Hitchcock kick, but I watched like all of the Psychos, and I do a yearly, probably almost 6 monthly watch of The Birds and Rear Window, because I love those films. So I like this film. Give it another go. I don't know where I saw it before. I don't know if I saw it at the cinemas or saw it on home video or something, but now I've got a copy of it. Similar to Divergent, The Maze Runner. Again, more of that sort of shit. Kids having to overcome the oppression of adults or some moronic fart like that. I'll give it a go. Whatever. Now, this one. This is probably going to make a couple of you maybe doubt my cinematic authenticity. But I actually really kind of like Mordecai. It's as dumb as a box of hammers. I am well aware of just how fucking stupid it is. It's got a pretty good cast. I find it really funny for some reason. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of there being like a... You know, it's no stupid than a lot of those sorts of TV shows, you know, like mystery writers that start solving crimes and shit like that. And what is he? He's an art authenticator or something who's solving crimes. And Johnny Depp is so acting against type in this. It got slammed something chronic. You know, it probably is dog shit, but I have seen it before. I did like it. It's nice to see Ewan McGregor kind of suave. Like, he almost looks like Pierce Brosnan on the cover there, doesn't he? Like, that's crazy how much, like, he doesn't look like Ewan McGregor there. But, yeah, I thought I'd give that a little bit of a twizzle again. I don't know. Again, that must have been one of those ones that I owned and then gave to somebody and said, I'm going to watch this again. And then didn't regret my generosity until I saw it there and thought, oh, Mordecai, yeah. And again, wouldn't have picked it up if it hadn't have been some free bullshit. So why not? And the last one is this one, which is a Park Chan-wook film called Stoker. Nicole Kidman. It's got Matthew Good, who I know from somewhere, but I don't know. And it's got Mia Wasikowska in it. Is that what her name is? But was she Alice in the Alice in Wonderland film that had Johnny Depp in it? I can't remember. But again, I do seem to remember liking this. So I'm prepared to give it another go. Yeah, it's. I think that the name and the sort of the look of the film may have sort of spoilt it a little bit because it seems to be a little bit more dark and doom and scary and all of that sort of shit, and it's not. Now, I mentioned in the last video that I had tried to get a copy of Autopsy of Jane Doe on Blu-ray. It never turned up. I bought a copy of it on DVD, which did turn up, and then the Blu-ray turned up almost immediately afterwards. Yeah, Blu-ray of Autopsy of Jane Doe in a weird thin case. I don't know if it was part of a collection or something, or... No, it looks like they've just jammed it in a thinner case, probably for cheaper postage. I don't care. I love the movie. I think it's an absolute corker. So that's the end of all of my sort of discounty ones, and then my eBay file. Now, living in the country, we don't have JB Hi-Fis and stuff like that. You know, there's one EB Games that's sort of, you know, there's 70 kilometers in either direction, but I think the next one is probably a 45-minute drive away, and then there's one that's an hour and a half drive away, and then there's another one that's 2 drives away. I'm sorry, my cat might start making noises because she has just walked in. Hey, chills. So my wife and I went to a place called Green Hills, which is near Newcastle. It's East Maitland, and there's a JB Hi-Fi there. To say I was very excited is underestimating it, because there's a game shop there. There's a EB Games there, like a game shop, like a board game shop. There's a JB Hi-Fi, and there's a Harry Hartog, which is a very, very small chain of very, very expensive bookstores. But it's nice to sort of walk around a bookstore and, you know, have a feel and have a sniff and have a flip and all the rest of it. You know, sometimes you sort of... And then take a photo of what it is that you liked and buy it on Amazon for $20 cheaper a few days later. Not that I've ever done that. Anyway, so I went to JB Hi-Fi, grabbed a handful of shit. This one, Bill Moseley, Danielle Harrison, Robert Englund. Natty Knox. Have you heard of this? You probably haven't. You know why? Because it's probably dog shit. And I'm sure that the title of having these 3 people at the top, I'm sure that they are collectively in it for 15 minutes. From the director of Halloween 4, that's like saying, you know, that one turd was from the same arse as another turd. But still, it's killer fun according to TV Fanatic, and more a treat than a trick. Also from TV Fanatic, you know that if you're quoting the same source twice, that you're probably on a bit of a horse's ass. came out 3 years ago or something. I think it's only just gotten a release here. It looks like it's kind of a some sort of, I think it's sort of riffing a little bit on the ex-Pearl sort of washed up starlet sort of idea. I'll give it a go. I like Danielle Harris. I try to like her podcast, but I sometimes feel like that I'm just listening on a phone call between two friends, because her and what's his name, Scout Taylor Compton, Scout Taylor Compton, is that her name? They seem to a lot of the time just be talking about what they're doing on the weekend. But yeah, but it's got Bill and Bob in it. Yay. Next I got Scream Boat. I am an anti-fan of Disney. So I don't hate Disney. I think that there is product that they have done throughout the years that is amazing. I am a fan of the artwork, of the artistry, of the people that work there, of the hard work that people have done. I have a friend who worked at Disneyland, and she, the quality control of staff and stuff like that is pretty cool and all the rest of it. I don't like their remake policy of like making live action of stuff, even though Stitch is apparently a massive hit. I think it's a dog shit idea, and it's creatively corrupt. I don't like the way that they're fucked up some Marvel shit lately, and Star Wars is just like Star Wars is my jam for like 40 years, and like now I couldn't give a shit about it. If I never heard of a new Star Wars product coming out ever again, it would be the greatest day of my life. So I'm more than a fan of seeing them get fucked over when somebody does something silly like Screamboat. It seems to be a silly concept. It's got, if I remember correctly, David Howard Thornton is Art the Clown. Is that right? And it's produced by... Sorry, that was Chili complaining about me not being with her. It was from the producers of Terrifier 2 and 3 as well. So, is that a sign of quality? I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm distracted because my cat has found a hole in the wall that she thinks is a bug. The last but not least is this thing, the Bell Keeper, from the creator of Final Destination. And it says down the bottom here, cross the Evil Dead with Friday the 13th. Yep. Take the Evil Dead, mix it with Friday the 13th, shove it in a cow's face, pull it out of its ass, and then rub it all over an ex-UFC fighter, and you've got the Bell Keeper. So anybody that rings the bell gets cursed, and there is a man who's been like alive for 200 years or something who kills the people who are possessed by the shit that's in the bell. I think that there's a good idea in there. I'm not quite sure that, what's his name, Randy Couture, who was also a producer, is that his name? Randy Couture? I'm pretty sure it is Randy Couture that's in this. It doesn't actually say it on the back. So you know, say it on the front? No, it doesn't. Wow. It doesn't say it really anywhere. That's so weird. Obviously, Couture hasn't quite got the... Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, it's under the cast. So, yeah, he's a producer, and he plays the ancient guy as well. I paid $17 for this, maybe $16 for this from JB Hi-Fi. I kind of feel offended that they ripped me off like that. Shit happens. The joy of being a horror fan is that you get like... You've got to eat a lot of turds to find a diamond. I'm not quite sure that that's quite the best metaphor. That's chills that you can see over here. That's chilly just here. Okay, so next is the 4Ks that I picked up. I'm going to do on the website a thing called Gothic Greetings for Christmas, where I'm going to do a bunch of Tim Burton movies. But believe it or not, I'm not going to do A Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm going to just do a bunch of... I just feel like watching a bunch of Tim Burton films, so I thought, why not do something? I wanted to do something that was a little bit more kid-friendly for Christmas, it being like a holiday that's related to family, so I thought Gothic Greetings is a lot of fun. I didn't have a copy of Beetlejuice on 4K, and it came across my path really, really cheap for like $15 on eBay from Metal Movies. So I grabbed that. Now, I was not a fan of Longlegs. I thought Longlegs, the first 2 acts of Longlegs felt like the best remake of Silence of the Lambs could ever possibly happen. And then the last third of it, the final act, I felt like it just sort of fell apart. It just sort of broke up for some reason. Nice to see Alicia Witt in something. I've got a little thing for Alicia Witt. Unfortunately, it's a lot littler than what I like to say. But I grabbed the monkey. I didn't spank it. I just grabbed it. Really, really dug this. I watched this the other day, and yeah, it was so much fun. I was really like, I'm not a fan of Stephen King's books, but I'm a fan of when people take his work and do something else with it. And I love this. And I think Osgood Perkins is in this as well, and he's fucking hilarious. It is like Final Destination meets like The Monkey's Paw. The old, was it a Twilight Zone or an Outer Limits episode? It's somewhere a mix between those two. I had so much fun with this. Speaking of Disney, this monkey's supposed to be the one with the symbols, but Disney copyrighted that fucking monkey because it was in Toy Story. That's the sort of shit that I don't like that Disney do. But anyway, still, this is thrilling. The actors that play... There's an actor that plays twins in it, and both the adult and the child version of the twins are spectacular. To the point that the kid versions, it had me trying to figure out if they were actually 2 separate kids or one. I'm still not quite sure. Corker of a film. Absolute corker of a film. Make sure you see this. It's a lot of fun. Review coming soon to the site. And then finally, I've been on a little bit of a... Okay, so I've never watched all of the Hobbit films all the way through because I watched the first one. It was... Except for Azrog. I thought that it was a fairly large piece of cow shit. They made 3 movies out of 3 books that were twice the size of The Hobbit, and then decided to milk The Hobbit for 3 movies, which seems to me to be such a fucking stupid thing to do. And there's so much bullshit in there, and it's so boring at times. But I'm trying to get through it. I'm trying to persevere because I've never seen Return of the King. I love Fellowship of the Ring. I hate The Two Towers because my favourite characters, Goldberry and Tom Bombadil, aren't in it. Anybody who knows me has heard me whine about this before. And so I've never watched Return of the King. In general, I have a rule that if I don't like a film, I won't watch the sequel. Because why would I waste my time? If I don't like slamming my cock in a desk drawer, why would I do it again just to make sure? Which is why I love the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I think the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is top tier Marvel. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 fucking sucks, and so I've never watched the third one. I can't be bothered. But anyway, so I got the Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. It's an anime Lord of the Rings. I don't mind a bit of anime, and I'm on a bit of a fantasy kick at the moment, mainly because I'm painting Warhammer miniatures, just as a hobby. It's something I do in my spare time. And so I thought I'd give this a go. I've sort of been drawing a lot of sort of Greek mythy sort of stuff, so I'm in that sort of fantasy realm at the moment. I've actually got lined up for my next 3 things to watch to be Conan the Destroyer, and the new Conan. Conan's probably 10 years old now. So yeah, I'm on a bit of a fantasy kick at the moment, and so I thought I'd grab that. I didn't like paying $35 for it, but like, fucking shut up, whatever. So finally, I've got the Blu-rays from Arrow Video that I've purchased this week. These are all from the company Metal Movies, who I've talked about a couple of times, who weirdly have disappeared off eBay. I was going to buy some more stuff from them, and they are gone. Disappeared. So, yeah. Poo on that. But I bought, 1, 2, 3, 4. I bought 6 Blu-rays of Arrows from them over the last couple of weeks. I got the Annihilators. Bit of dumb action. Love me some dumb action. Again, am thinking of doing Action August. I have received the blessing of Simon from Explosive Action, so maybe that'll be a thing that happens next year, and I'll just find some silly, ridiculously named action films. Maybe I should do like John Wick July and go into Action August. We'll see what happens. Battle Royale 2. I love Battle Royale, and for some reason have never seen this. I can't imagine it's going to be good. It says bigger, bolder, and bloody than ever. More than happy for bigger, bolder, and bloodier. Unless it's a vagina. And, yeah, so we'll give this a smack. Like I said, love the first one. Have a really nice box set that Arrow did several years ago of it. Give that one a spin. Love its work. This was one that I bought just on a whim, the last video store. I think it was just cheap, and so I grabbed it. A love letter to rental video stores and the B-movie treasures that line their walls. Yeah, so it's something that I've been thinking about a fair bit lately, about someone who has to clean up their father's mess after he's passed away, like, you know, going through his stuff. And it's actually sort of got me thinking about, like, my daughter and all of the shit that I own, and her having to go through that after I pass away, and I ain't getting younger. And I sort of look at this sometimes and think, do I want her to not just have the burden of like me being dead, like the horror of me not being around anymore, but then also having to go through this shit? It's depressing, isn't it? But yeah, you know, like, we collect these things and overconsume and fill our houses with it, and then at some point somebody's got to do something with it, and it's usually our children. Anyway, I don't want that to happen to her. I got this one called The Leech. Again, another cheapie. Horror and the Season of Good Cheer. So I guess it's a Christmas one. I don't know anything about it. I liked the cover. I thought the cover had like a weird driller killer vibe to it, so I thought I would get onto that and give it a go. You may remember a couple of months ago I got Tremors 2 Aftershocks. I love me a worm. I don't like having them in my body. I don't mind them in my garden. I love them on my screen. I think this is Michael Gross's back for this one, but I don't think... Oh no, Fred Ward's in this one. Yeah, Michael Gross is in this as well. So yeah, that'll be a bit of fun. It's got a little bit of a bookie wook in there as well. I'm not sure if it's a book or some sort of comic or something, but yeah, I like these sort of ones, these collections that Arrow do. And finally, I got this one, which is a Kirill Sokolov film. Why Don't You Just Die? That is a title that immediately had me sit up and listen. And also the back of it says, Shades of Early Tarantino, Edgar Wright, and Sam Raimi. That's going to be bullshit, but evocative title, and just for that was like, I possibly need to give this a bit of a go, because that sounds like it's too good to be true. So I need to check that out. Yeah, so that was my haul. Like I said, I've got to find other stuff to do with this channel now, because I've got a book haul. I am interviewing somebody pretty exciting soon on the channel, so that's coming up pretty soon. But I need to watch these films. I can't keep buying them, because I'm just like flooding my lounge room with unwatched, as you can see, unwatched and unopened movies, and I really need to start finding my way through those. I am desperately trying. I'm sort of watching a movie a day, but when you're buying 30 movies in a month and you've got a backlog that's huge, it's sort of hard to do that. I think that's why I'm a little bit anti-consumerism at the moment, because I've spent so much money lately just on stuff that I can't catch up on. So I need to wind it back, which means also that I'm trying to find content and ideas to do on this. I might do a video about my collection. Maybe I'll do it shelf by shelf or something. But yeah, we'll find something, I'm sure. But yeah, like I said, I've got something exciting coming up. Thank you for watching. It's very cool of you to come and check it out. Please like the video. Please watch it all the way to the end. You are at the end. So that was, I should have probably said that at the beginning. Follow go and check out the website, www.digitalretribution.com. Check us out on Instagram as well, Digital Retribution Oz. And yeah, we'll be back maybe later this week. There might be 2 videos this week, but then a hiatus of like 2 weeks. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. My voice is starting to go. I'm starting to get hungry. Chills, as you can see, wants me to go and feed her or entertain her or something. Thank you so much for watching. Later, Gators. I hope you all have a great night and try and keep warm. See ya. Bye.